Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are the middle-aged guys, and we bullshit about nothing. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
We are actually going to talk about Sony for a little bit. As you know, earlier this week, the PS4 Pro was fully released out and it hit the store shelves. People have been, breaking the spate of not buying any PS4s like that, like what's been happening over the last 2 months. And a lot of people went out of their way and they jumped on the PS4, the PS4 Pro. And they were expecting bigger, better things out of the games and all of that. Now, if you're the general consumer, you sit there, you look at the specs, and you're like, all right, faster GPU, faster CPU, faster RAM, and everything else. They say it's gonna increase performance and all of that. That's exactly what I'm expecting. Unfortunately, as the performance tests came out, it actually turned out that certain games actually perform worse on the PS4 Pro than they do the base PS4. Okay, now this information was made available to everybody through Digital Foundry, which, by the way, if you're looking for a good review source on YouTube, a very impartial source as far as like technology and hardware, especially video game hardware, especially how the way that they compare to each other, Digital Foundry is probably one of the better channels out there to look up.
Impartiality, you don't say.
Yes, very much so. Because these guys are tech heads, and they're very discerning tech heads on top of that. But one of the things that they had noticed is that there were certain releases, including new releases like Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim Special Edition, and Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, and also certain things like The Last of Us Remastered, which even though they were running on the PS4 Pro, that they were having visual issues like certain stuttering problems and performance problems like frame rate or stuff like that, even when they were patched with PS4 Pro patches. Now, if you sit there and you say, all right, well, they're using it on 4K and they're displaying it on 4K, we have a display that's asking for easily 4 times as much visual data processed at once as far as data bandwidth and everything, that would be not so surprising, okay? However, they found out that some of these games don't perform as well even when running in native 1080p, which has really set a lot of people back, especially when they're considering, why am I going out of my way to go ahead and spend an extra $100 or $200 for this particular console? Is this something that they want to go ahead and jump at? Which is something that a lot of people are asking themselves. In which case, I kind of pose that question to you guys. I mean, you guys are the resident PS4 owners of the group. What are your thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Wait, so that many people bought a PS4 Pro?
Yeah.
Okay, look, we talked about this before. And this was one of our major concerns with the PS4 Pro as a comparison to the PS4. It's kind of funny now that this shit has come to pass and people didn't even consider this. I don't get that. Especially if it's the first run, the first models, the first manufactured systems of the PS4 Pro. You knew there was going to be problems, issues, bugs to be worked out, whatever. But I just don't. I'm not going to get one. I'm not going to be a VR. I don't care about 4K gaming or anything like that. I just don't. But for people that are, people should have waited it out. Especially until they ironed everything out with the damn system as far as the upgrades and the patches. And so A1 patches are worse now, even with high-tech pro systems. It's a damn shame. Especially since these are games that are already fucking out. It's just damn shame.
What about you, Gray Mouse? What are your thoughts on it?
Months ago, we went through this and we said that the games that are already on the PlayStation 4 and what developers have to do to run it on this other system seems like has came true. I have to agree with what the theme said. People should have waited to buy it. But, you know, I mean, you can't always, I don't know. I just think it was whole thing was, I don't know.
My thing with this is that it's all software based. There are certain things that the guys at Digital Foundry, they're able to sit there and break things down, and this is one of the things I love about it. For instance, the issue with The Last of Us, as far as the one it's pro patched. There's a play mode where you can play in native 4K that's locked at 30 frames, which they say that when you play it that way, it looks stunning. It looks awesome. But when you sit there and you play it in the native 1080p, which is supposed to be playable at 60 frames, what happens is that it goes through a particular process called super sampling, where it takes a larger image, instead of upscaling it up to a higher resolution, it downscales it to a smaller resolution. It's very much like what they do when comic book artists create comic book pages. They work on these 18 by 24 fucking pages, but when you end up getting the comic book page in your hand, it's 9 by 10. Okay. So that's pretty much what the PS4 Pro does for its particular super sampling for downscaling things to 1080p. The problem with it, though, is that you can't switch it over to a native 1080p, and since it's scaled up to, like, I think an 1880 resolution, it causes issues because it has to sit there and process that much more. And what happens is that in areas where they're like where you would normally see like frame hitches or bottlenecks on particular games like that, it's exacerbated even more because you have a lot more data that has to sit there and translate out. Now, it has to be stressed that this is only a few particular games, a handful of games. But these are also games that are also PS4 Pro patched that can be played in native 4K. All right? So once you sit there and you throw that out there, you're going to be seeing in native 4K instead of native 1080p. You already have to start making some sort of concessions, even if you're a member of the PC master race. Okay? I know this firsthand. All right? Gray Mouse himself, when he jumps deeper into that Steam well after the first holiday season sale kills his wallet, we'll know this firsthand also. But yeah, when you start messing around with the resolutions and settings and things like that, like anti-aliasing and particle effects, I think one of the things that they had a big issue with Deus Ex Mankind Divided was the processing of like alpha reflections and shadows and stuff like that. That's what was causing a lot of the frame rate and performance issues. But like you guys said, we had stated in previous other videos that we put out months ago, my biggest reservation, which I've stated from day one, is that I want to see how it deals with the existing library, because there's already 3 years, almost 3 full years of the existing library out for the 40 million PS4 owners out there. Okay. If it doesn't do well at this moment in time, it doesn't seem to do well with a lot of games that I'm really interested in actually fucking owning. Then yeah, that creates kind of an impasse for me to go ahead and go out and, rush out and buy myself a PS4 Pro. And this is the type of things that people got to sit there and realize that, when you do that jump in hardware, if the software isn't on par, if it's not done well, it doesn't matter how much fucking horsepower you have, it can perform worse. Any other thoughts on that, gentlemen?
It's just, man.
I got a thought. Is
Sure.
this going to be foreshadowing for the Xbox Scorpion?
I have no doubts that the Scorpio is going to go through similar issues, especially at the beginning, when it launches. All right. Now, to be fair, though, with the stuff that's going on with PS4 Pro, it's probably going to be resolved with more updates, and the publishers are going to have to go back. Actually, belay that. Not the publishers. The developers have to go back, and they're going to have to tweak shit a little bit more in order to get it on par. All right. Whether or not they're getting paid for that by their publishers, or if that's, you know, extra work that they have to do for fucking free, is dependent on their particular relationship with their publisher. All right. But I'm pretty sure that this sort of stuff should go ahead and it should resolve itself. It flies completely in the face of what Sony said, that they mandated all of the developers and publishers, you know, for making software for the PS4 Pro, that it has to perform better than the base PS4, the base mode on PS4, which makes things interesting. All right. Because it's like, well, Sony, that shit obviously isn't fucking happening at this moment in time.
And in my honest opinion, I think that's a tall order for Sony to ask their publishers to do. Especially to go back to their games that they've put out for the last 3 years and go back into that code. And I know I'm not coming from a developer standpoint, or I have no idea what goes into developing a game, but I do know that I think that's a real tall order for Sony to require their publishers and their software developers to go back on old code so it can run on their newer software. That's just, I mean, if I was the thing is that one thing that people are not considering is these, like we said in our previous video, months ago, what about these small developer companies that only have one person, 2 or 3 people at best, making these indie developer games? It's just, I don't know.
Well, from a development standpoint, I think if we have to point out also that the games that are having these sort of issues are the ones that are going out of their way to put together an exclusive pro mode. Okay, and that's the ones that are having issues. Okay,
but isn't that required of all of them to have a pro mode?
No, not exactly. That's going to be required of all the games going forward. Okay, that are currently in development, that are going
not games that are already out.
Yeah,
but
the ones that are
leaving behind those people. What I'm saying is, okay, if I didn't have a PlayStation 4 and I wanted to buy a Pro, I can't play day 1 or day 2 editions of the games when PlayStation 4 was first released, the launch titles. Not in the, maybe
Pro mode
software.
No, you'd be able to do it. You'd be able to do it in base mode. Now, those publishers and those developers, if they're going to have to sit there and go through and comb through the code to make sure that it's going to run on the new hardware without an issue, and they're probably going to have to sit there and release a patch out. But as long as they're not trying to sit there and say, "Oh, hey, look, I've got this retro 8-bit game, that I released out on PSN for like $2.99." If that developer doesn't want to do a 4K mode, they don't have to fucking do it. They just have to go ahead and make sure that it runs correctly on the PS4 Pro. All right. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that it's going to be any easier for them. Okay, and that doesn't mean that it's not going to put them in a hard fucking place, because like we've said from the very fucking beginning, the indie developers, they're getting fucked by this. They really are. Okay.
I just wanted to mention that everybody realize that we're not just pro, publishers that have millions and billions of dollars backing them. We're talking about the little guys, because here recently, to be quite honest with you, the little guys have more entertaining games than the big guys.
Yeah.
When it's turned out. And I hate to see the little guys to be left behind over stupid.
Except for No Man's Sky.
Well, yeah, no, they had the backing of Sony, and Sony threw them under the fucking bus, right?
Pretty much.
Their challenge is getting their shit working correctly, period. All right? That's the thing with Hello Games, all right? But, as far as PS4 Pro, this is, what's funny is that as much as Sony went out of their way and said, "Oh no, this is not a brand new generation. This type of shit happens with every fucking brand new generation launch, all right? You have games that come out that look fucking great. For some reason, they're not as polished as the last generation's games.
Nope.
Right? This is what, this does not surprise me, all right?
Well, what's driving this whole thing is people, like we said before on our channels, look at the graphics, look at the graphics, look at. I don't care if it mechanically possible. Just look at the graphics, look at the graphics, and that's what's coming. That's what's causing this. I mean, to me, I don't care if something's in 1080 at 30 frames per second versus something that's in 1080 versus 60 frames per second. It doesn't really matter to me. It really doesn't. As long as it's not doing this when I'm trying to put. No,
like a Tiger handheld or a DLC quest?
Yeah, as long as it's not doing that kind of stopping and that crap. No, I mean I'm fine with it. I mean like
South Park.
Yeah, like what we said on graphics is not everything, and that's the only thing that seems to be powering all these mid-generation upgrades for the Sony, PlayStation, the Microsoft Scorpio. Is that people look at the graphics? I gotta have 4K. I gotta have 4K gaming.
Wow! Look at the grass. Look at the clouds. Oh my God! Look at the dark. Look at the moon. Look at the stars. That has nothing to do with your
fucking gameplay sucks.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with your present game.
It has blocky freaking control. No. Anyway, that's another day. But what I'm saying is this. I said, we told you so. I hate to say that, but, those early adapters again. But like you said, to be fair, like Reverend was saying, to be fair, it's only happened to certain games,
Yeah.
So other games.
Yeah, there's only certain games worth playing.
Well, and for the folks that do have the, Digital Foundry themselves said that, when they have the games that are patched for the Pro mode that are working without any glaring issues, when it's running, it's fucking beautiful. There is a visible difference to what they're seeing on screen. Which means that, yeah, guess what? The hardware has it there, but the developers themselves have to sit there and catch up, and they have to relearn things. They have to tweak things just like they would with any brand new hardware generation. Okay.
Yep.
So when I sit there and I hear that, hardware generations are going to go away. No, that's bullshit. That's semantics. Okay. I mean, that's always going to be the fucking case. All right. Now, that's not to say that was the only thing that was concerning Sony as far as this week. Over last week, there's actually reports over the United Kingdom and in London and in Europe that a lot of users were reporting that their accounts were hacked. They were no longer able to go ahead and jump into their PlayStation Network accounts. They would sit there and they would find that they couldn't log in, their passwords were changed and stuff like that. And then what was really, really weird was that they found out that when they were actually finally getting into their account, that whoever got into their account transferred money into their PlayStation wallet. And for some reason, over 90% of the reports say that they had purchases made on their accounts for EA FIFA 2017 for football, okay, or soccer, as known here in the States. All right. The funny thing about this is that, Sony themselves really hasn't been reporting on this. But if you look at the Sony Ask Sony UK Twitter account, and you do a search for the tweets saying Sony hack or my account has been hacked or shit has been charged to my account that I didn't authorize, their fucking Twitter account has been flooded with this shit. Okay, Sony themselves hasn't come out formally said, oh, hey, look, you guys should go out of your way and change your account passwords and all that other shit. But what's really, really weird is the fact that, yeah, money was transferred over from whatever revenue source into their Sony wallet, and then purchases were made. Most of them football, like I said, FIFA 2017. All right. What was really bad for a lot of customers was that, if they weren't able to get the refunds back through PSN, a lot of them asked for chargebacks. which right after they asked for chargebacks, they were locked out of their fucking PSN account by Sony.
Yeah.
Remember how Sony increased their price to $59.99 just a few months ago? And a lot of people were wondering what the fuck you were offering, Sony. This was not what they expected. What are your thoughts, guys?
Xbox Live.
Oh man, it's just the fact that after all that, after even the price increase, wait, the price increase hasn't started yet, so they haven't tweaked on anything yet. It's just the fact that, man, getting hacked and getting garbage put on your stuff. I mean, come on. I would be pissed if all of a sudden Madden or fucking FIFA ended up on my shit and I have no desire to play those fucking games and I have to fucking pay for it. And if I ask for a refund, I get locked out of my own fucking account. Fuck that.
Yep.
It's just, wow. I'm just trying to maintain composure to keep from laughing at this. But yeah, wow. So it was basically Sony leaks.
No,
yeah.
Yeah, no. What about you, Grey Mouse? What are your thoughts on this, sir?
It's a fucking shame. How many times does Sony have to be hacked before they fucking do something about their goddamn security? You know what? People have been asking me, why, Grey Mouse, why haven't you got PlayStation Plus?
Why are you going to throw funds into something that you can't sit there and reliably expect to be secure?
I can't connect to the damn PlayStation Network. It gets hacked every other fucking day. Why am I going to spend $60 on some kind of service like that? It's fucked up. When you're paying that much money for an online service, you expect some security. And, you can't just blame Sony, though. These people that have Sony accounts, change your fucking password. Make it better than 12345 or 54321 or ABCDEFG. Fucking God, man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's amazing. That's the same combination I have on my luggage.
I'm just saying. If people had better passwords, maybe a hacker can get into your account. But
no.
Simply, like I said before in other videos, I work for the government, and I've been working for the government for a long time, and I got in a good habit of creating passwords with upper, lower, special characters, all that shit. So it's easy for me. But what I'm saying is this: you can put your blame on Sony for having piss poor security. But it's ultimately up to you. If you keep having these fucking easy-ass passwords that these people can crack, I can't remember that shit. Then write it down and tuck it somewhere in your safe at your house. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously.
I think with this particular one, though, what I think is most... I can go on a tirade also on what people can personally do, but that's what people personally do. But what I will go ahead and I can point out is that even after the amount of social media traffic just revolving around this particular subject alone, that Sony themselves have not come out and actually acknowledge.
I forgot to mention that too. I mean,
whether something is going on or not.
Now wait a minute. Social media, man, call these motherfuckers.
No. What I'm saying is this. Or what Reverend is saying is this. Sony knows that this is happening, but they're not coming out and saying, they're not saying, all right, guys, we've been hacked. X amount of accounts have been compromised. Change your passwords.
Yeah. Blow them motherfuckers' phones
they're
up.
They're radio silence right now.
Well,
they're pretending that this ain't happening, but you got social media saying that it is.
Yeah, because the thing about it is that I don't think it's anywhere near as big as the 2011 hack. All right, which exposed 77 million fucking users, compromised that much information. Because this seems to be really centralized around the United Kingdom and England and everything else. But Sony, I know for sure they don't want any headlines at all associating the word Sony and a hack in the same fucking sentence. Okay, they don't want that happening at all. Now, does that mean that it's prudent for them not to say anything to their customers? I think for the fact that they lost a class action lawsuit revolving around that 2011 fucking hack, that they would know that they should probably go out of their way to approach this a little bit differently.
Because I am the type of person that would sue over some stuff like that, because that's personal information, especially when it has to do with your fucking wallet.
Credit card numbers, man.
Exactly. That is a very, very dangerous situation. I mean, gaming is already an expensive hobby as it is, but I'm going to get hacked and fucking pay for garbage that I don't even fucking want, need, or desire.
And then when you do a chargeback, you get
locked out of your shit.
You get punished by saying, I didn't order this. That's just damn.
Yeah.
That is one thing that Sony just seems like it doesn't have a grasp on at all. I mean, for Christ's sake, in the last year, we've had Sony pictures being fucking hacked. Sony accounts being hacked. Like, come on, Sony. I know it's something different, but still. I mean, dude, you had what was that called? The Gator or the Lizard Squad or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
DDoS attack.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen on the Xbox. Yes, it did. But Microsoft got that service back up, I mean, within minutes or days, even within the same day. Sony was locked down for 2 weeks.
Well,
I just don't understand that.
Well, that's because Microsoft wanted to make it so you have to be online in order for your shit to work. So it wasn't all that difficult.
Yeah.
And Sony was trying to do all that shit too, most likely.
But what I'm saying is this, is that Sony needs to look, they need better servers. They need to hire better people or something.
Oh, okay. So get Hillary's people. They know how to have that shit and have it, and no one to notice it until it, gets leaked out and shit like that. Yeah, get Hillary's people up in there. People will never know. And that shit will stay.
No, you don't want Hillary's people up in there because they'll bleach the servers.
Yep. And then
nothing.
And then all of a sudden you have Julian Assange going ahead and dropping stuff on WikiLeaks. Hey,
that's why I said Sony
has been hacked.
No, that's why earlier I said Sony leaks.
Yeah. No, this particular situation it's fucked up, and I'm going to say this right now. Look, if you have a PSN account, if you haven't done this in a while, change your fucking password. Please. Go through your fucking account, see if anybody's went out of their way to charge anything or shift shit around, or if you have fucking shit showing up on your account that you didn't remember ever fucking purchasing, check that shit out.
But here's the thing that's kind of garbage as far as that goes. It's like, when it comes to stuff like that, I think it's kind of funny that some people most likely don't even remember what their passwords are.
That's and the thing is that's on them. But if you haven't changed it in a while, go out of your way and change your PSN password.
Yes.
And don't use the same password for all your shit. Don't use the same password for your bank account that you use for your PlayStation Network account or your Xbox Live account. No,
see, that's a give or
passwords.
That's a give or take situation because
no, it's not.
What I'm saying is certain people can't remember all kinds of passwords or to write them down and to put them all in the same fucking places.
Look, if you frequent like Reddit, if you use your Reddit password for your PlayStation Network password, like a public forum or IGN password, that's what I'm saying. If you use those passwords that have no security whatsoever, you know, for a public forum, and you use those same passwords for your PlayStation Network password, you deserve to get fucking hacked.
No, I know what you're saying, and that's incredibly silly.
Well, people do it.
Yeah, you know, and to step off of our high horses and to return back to the subject at hand. You know, there's been a lot of stuff going on with Sony. You know, whether or not you feel like the PS4 Pro is worth the money that it's going out for, if that's for you, or whether or not you think that their online service, especially their security, is piss poor. You know, that's the type of thing that you have to go ahead and deal with as a consumer. You know, and this is one of the things that we just want to go ahead and point out to people. Aside from that, I think what we're going to do in this particular one, we pretty much set our piece on it. We're going to go ahead and bring this particular video to a close. Thank you very much for sticking with us all the way up until this point, everybody. If you're so kind, hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave us a comment below, especially if you think we've missed something, or maybe you have your own horror story about getting hacked or getting your account stolen. Whether it be from Sony or someplace else, you know, we'd like to hear about that. I mean, I know I've had it happen to me before. All right, that's a whole other story and video altogether. We're gonna go ahead and bring this one to a close. We are the middle-aged guys, and we bullshit about nothing. Our bullshit about Sony and all the fucked up news about it ends here. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
Very Mouse One.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming, and change your passwords on your account. Sony, what the fuck? And yeah, wow, just wow. Fix your fucking PS4 Pro stuff, please. You really want people to buy it and get your VR? I want to play Res. Maybe I'll try it on VR. Just fix that shit ASAP. Credits.
Wouldn't it be fucked up if you find out that Res runs worse on the PS4 Pro than the fucking Dreamcast version?
But it'll be made for VR and PS4 Pro.
Yeah, but
that would be insane if that would have happened.
But if it's running in VR like 20 fucking frames per second when I played at 60 on my fucking Dreamcast.
I was about to say the Dreamcast version is better at that point.
Yeah, and it's a system that's been out like back in 1999.
Hey, wait, the Dreamcast is better than most of the systems that are out right now.
Just saying, that's what you're looking forward to.
That's the thought. And I hope that doesn't happen to Shenmue 3. Shenmue 3 better not be fucked up on the PS4 Pro, please.
Well, don't worry. You'll see it in like 2019.
Don't say that.